You know, I always say to our organization, they're like, well, you know, when's the Labor Council meeting? I said, it's been the third Wednesday of the month since 1899. Well, the NAACP has been meeting here since probably around that time too. I mean, and I think it's something to be said for these organizations that have now gone on to their second century, that we keep going and we keep trying. And look at, and obviously it started there and it's not there yet. And that's why we all need to commit ourselves to the work of really creating Dr. King's beloved community. We're not there yet. But that's what it means to me, is to say that, you know, that this organization that has the historical, you know, roots that kind of we do too, you know, it recognizes the work. So I really appreciate that. So I'm Mark Spadafore. I kind of have two roles in our community. I'm the Upstate New York Political Director for SEIU 1199. We're a union of healthcare workers. And I'm President of the Greater Syracuse Labor Council, AFL-CIO, representing 35,000 union members across Onondaga and Madison counties. About myself, I grew up in this area. I grew up actually in Liverpool. And one of my first formative experiences there was I was always interested in politics. And in 1988, I went to volunteer for Jesse Jackson for president. And Liverpool is white, it's even whiter then than it is now, as hard as that might be to believe. But one of the first things I had to do was, because he was coming to Syracuse to speak at the War Memorial. And so they had us go down to Hops Memorial Church. And I walked into the room, and it was the first time for me in my life that I walked into a room where, you know, not everybody or most of the people were white. And that was a learning experience for me. They were like, oh, this is what my black friends go through when they're in Liverpool. And it made me all of a sudden realize that what I grew up with and what I was living with wasn't what other people's experiences were. And it really kind of turned me on and turned on my kind of political activism, you know, and what I've been committed to kind of in my life. And so, you know, my career in the labor movement kind of started with that basis of that realization that, you know, other people didn't have what I had, and how to make it so that everybody has that fair shot and that opportunities that I had. When I finally get done, I want to be able to look at the room and have that room really reflect what this city is. Because right now, the city is a majority-minority city, and we need to reflect that in all the rooms and all the spaces. In some ways, though, I see things as like we've had some successes and we've had failures. But the thing, even when we have failures, is not to stop trying. Is that, you know, you just try to figure out what went wrong, or figure out how to do things differently, or you just try again. And I think that's what we all need to do as a community.